Welcome to this morning's webinar. I'm really excited for today's topic. We'll be having our guest speaker, Kindra French, and I'll introduce her in just a moment, but she'll be speaking on home safety and neutralizing the danger zones. So before I introduce her, I'm just going to share a little bit. My name is Carrie McClellan. I'm the outreach manager for Elder Health, and part of my role is to help facilitate these family caregiving webinars on different topics, and really they're available to anybody. So whether it's a family caregiver or whether it's an older adult or just somebody wanting to learn more about the different resources and educational topics available. So I'm happy that you are joining us today. A little bit about Elder Health. So our mission is really to support older adults who are still living in their own home out in the community, and to help them maintain their independence and continue living safely. So again, that's where today's topic is so important, as we want our clients to be able to continue living in their homes for as long as possible. We have a variety of services that we offer through our programs at Elder Health. We have information and referral services where we connect people to resources, again, whether it's family members who are looking to help their loved ones, or older adults, or anybody in the community who is trying to find out the next step, we can point you in the right direction. And we offer a variety of check-in calls to make sure people are staying connected, and that is a real help for us to get to know our clients, and for them to have that peace of mind. Our Seniors A Go-Go program offers transportation. We are focusing on medical related rides right now, and our care coordination program offers quite a few volunteer services, home safety services, as well as social workers who can provide assessments and resources and advocacy. Our housing services department helps to connect people with affordable housing options. Also, they facilitate our roommate matching program called Home Share. And then our family caregiver support helps to connect family caregivers with resources. So again, our information and referral service is available. Webinars like today's, we hold those almost on a monthly basis, and you can find a library of all of our previously recorded webinars on our website, on our family caregiver page. So check that out if you're interested in other topics. We've created online courses for family caregivers, so no matter what stage you are in the journey, those courses can be of help to you. Assessment tools are included, and education and resources, and those are all available for free on our website. You can find that link there. And we partner with Alzheimer's San Diego and Southern Caregiver Resource Center to help reach more family caregivers in our community. So we're grateful for those partnerships and collaborations. I want to give a special thank you to All Gaia Foundation for sponsoring today's webinar. Their work empowers those impacted by a lack of affordable housing. So we're very grateful that they recognize the importance of home safety, and that's why we're here today. So thank you so much. And before I introduce our speaker, I wanted to just take a minute to talk about fall prevention and the importance of it. So fall prevention is a topic that is important to remember all year long, because any day of the year, somebody may fall. In fact, 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 falls each year. And as we age, that number increases. So it's important to remember that most falls are preventable. And the ways that you can prevent falls includes these 4 easy reminders. So to stay active, making sure that you have that physical activity and working on balance and mobility, talking with your doctor if you have any changes, any conditions that maybe are new, or medications that you're taking that are having some side effects, making sure that we're getting our vision checked on an annual basis, because as we age, our vision changes. So we might need to update our prescriptions, or make sure we're updating the lighting in our homes. And of course, making our homes safer and looking at the environmental concerns, and that is where today's topic comes into play. So before I hand the reins over to our guest speaker, I just want to give her the proper introduction. So Kindra French is a certified aging in place specialist and helps make homes safer to allow people to live safely and independently. She and her husband Gary opened 101 Mobility of San Diego in 2015. As a senior home safety specialist, Kindra helps people to identify and address safety risks in the home as it relates to falls and mobility. She is a former president of the San Diego chapter of the National Aging in Place Council and currently serves as education chair for the organization. She also serves on the San Diego Fall Prevention Task Force and is active in the Caregiver Coalition. Kindra hosts a monthly program at the Carlsbad Senior Center called Successful Aging in Place, and her business 101 Mobility is a San Diego Live Well partner. There's no denying that Kindra is passionate about her work and helping older adults, and it's honestly a pleasure and an honor to have her joining us today and sharing her expertise with all of us. So welcome, Kindra, and I will hand the reins over to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carrie, so much. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of what Elder Health is doing to just help people in the community to understand the resources that are available to them and just to have the education for how to reduce your risk of a fall at home. September is actually Fall Prevention Month. And so many of you will notice that all sorts of focused education around fall prevention. So this is very timely, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I'm looking for the little thing that lets me forward my slide. And I don't see it. There it came. Cool. So the name of this presentation is Neutralizing the Danger Zones. And the reason we chose that title is because in a home, there are many, many things we could talk about when it comes to home safety. But our focus today is really on the 3 most dangerous places in the home, or the 3 places where a fall is most likely. And we want to reduce that risk. So that's a picture of Gary and me, just so you know what we look like when we're dressed nicely. And we are going to talk about what the danger zones are in a home. The 3 primary places where falls are more likely and more likely to produce an injury are stairs, or any change in elevation. If it's not a full flight of stairs, little step ups, even that are, a couple of inches, can be a hazard. Bathrooms certainly are danger zones because of the wet, slippery environment. And the fact that every time if there's a fall in a bathroom, every surface that you hit is a hard surface. And then the third is the one people don't often think of, but it's really the risk of falling anytime that you're transferring, like getting in and out of bed, or even getting up from a chair. So we'll also talk about how to reduce your risk of those kinds of falls. So let's start with the stairs. Now, if there's a fall on the stairs, the risk of injury is great because, number one, it's a hard surface. Typically, if someone falls down a flight of stairs, they're falling at some distance. So there's a higher risk of an injury if a fall occurs. And in our business, we spend a lot of time addressing problems on stairs. And I've heard countless stories from people who have had falls and have had injuries from falls down the stairs. It's really scary, and there's things that can be done to help. So let's take a look. Number 1 is to install handrails. And a lot of times I go into a home, even my own home, when our house was constructed in the 70s, standard construction for a banister or railing on the stairs was a metal railing with a 2x6 that's just completely flat. And can you hold on to it for support when you're climbing up and down the stairs? Yes. But does it give you a really sturdy, safe grip? And the answer is no. So in our own home, we actually replaced our railing with something that offers us a power grip. So the difference you can see in this diagram is most railings will have something called a pinch grip. And while again, you can use it for a little bit of support going up and down, if you start to trip and fall and you try to hold on to it, it's much harder to hold on than if you have something that's round. The ADA guidelines for handrails is that you have a cylindrical railing, something circular with a diameter between 1.5 and 1.9 inches, so that a person's hand can fully reach around. So, and the example is, trying to use a hammer with a handle shaped like that stair railing with the pinch grip. You're not going to have a whole lot of strength to drive that nail because you can't hold firmly. So the power grip on a handrail is something that's really important. So your homework, when we're done with this webinar, if you have stairs in your home, is number one, make sure that there are railings, including the 1 or 2 steps up to your porch, things like that. Most homes will have a handrail on a full flight of stairs of some kind, but often when there's 1 or 2 steps or 3, we'll go to a home and find that there's nothing there for anyone to hold on to. And, truly, if you have any steps at all, either outdoors or indoors, and there's not an adequate handrail, I just really encourage you to get that taken care of. It's a simple fix, and it can make a huge difference. So here are some examples of some ADA compliant handrails that we've installed around San Diego. This particular brand of stair handrail has a 1.6 inch diameter. It's made of anodized aluminum, and it's available in like 5 different finishes. There are, several different brands and models. You can have wood railings, you can have the modular aluminum railings, but they make a huge difference. The picture that you see in the bottom by the pool deck, that railing was designed basically for 2-way travel. The person who uses that handrail actually has only use of one arm because of an injury. So he uses one side of the railing going up and the other side of the railing going down. Plus it gave it an artistic looking design and was very helpful. You'll notice also on the right, there is a railing that's not associated with stairs. Handrails are definitely a must on stairs, but can also be helpful in other places. The gentleman that had this railing installed, and that's inside a dining nook next to the kitchen. And he actually experienced a fall getting up from his dining chair when he went around this corner. And so we installed a railing there. So now he has a supportive handhold when he stands up and starts to move out of the room. So another bit of homework for you is, as you or your loved ones are navigating around the home, pay attention to places where someone reaches out and puts their hand on a wall or a piece of furniture for support. That's a good indication that that's a good place for a railing. And just to provide that extra support while you can steady yourself by putting your hand on the wall, if you were to start to slip and fall, that's not going to stop the fall. Whereas having something you can grip will. So that is a word about handrails. Now, another solution for stairs, if someone really has difficulty with balance or even any kind of a condition that makes climbing stairs painful or difficult to breathe when climbing stairs, stair lifts can be a wonderful solution. With a stair lift, you have a track that mounts directly to the stairs. A lot of people have a mistaken understanding that a stair lift is going to be attached to their walls, and it's not. They're actually supported by the stairs themselves. They are battery operated. There's a charger that plugs into a nearby outlet and stays plugged in. so that if someone has a stair lift in their home, it's always charged and ready to use. And if we ever have a power outage where there's no electricity, the lift continues to operate because it's running on battery power. All stair lifts will have obstruction sensors as a safety feature. What that means is if there's ever an object on the stairs, like a purse or a grocery bag or a pet, if the stair lift comes in contact with an object, it stops. And that's going to prevent damage to the stairs, the object, and the lift itself. They also will all have the ability to be folded up out of the way to maintain as much open space on the stairs as possible when it's not being used. So in the picture you see it's open for use, but the armrests, the seat, and the footrest all fold up so that a lift can be stored out of the way. They also will operate two ways. There's always some type of armrest control, a button on the armrest that the user pushes in the direction they want to travel, and the machine goes. They also will all have remote controls, and the remote controls allow the lift to be called. I have a number of clients that will use a stair lift simply as a conveyance when they need to bring in groceries or bring down laundry. They'll put the laundry basket on the seat and send it down to the waiting loved one who is going to do the laundry for them. And again, when it comes to climbing the stairs and a risk of a fall, the highest likelihood of a fall on stairs are when you're carrying something, because you don't have the ability to reach out and grab a handrail because your hands are full. And often your vision of where you're stepping is obstructed by what you're holding in your arms. So if you have a device that can offload those things, it can make it a lot safer and easier. So there's a couple of types of stair lifts, straight and curved. So when a set of stairs goes straight up in one direction with no landings, bends, or turns, a straight stair lift is an option. Those are a standard stock item, and they can typically be installed within a couple of days of learning about the need. So it's a very quick and easy installation. They're priced between $3,000 and $5,000, and that's dependent on the models, the features, the weight capacities. But an average is about $3,400. There are indoor and outdoor models. The outdoor models do cost a little more. Those are more like between $5,000 and say $6,500. They also don't have some of the power features that would be available on an indoor lift. One of the reasons I'm mentioning pricing for stair lifts is a lot of people have a mistaken understanding that your health insurance is going to assist with paying for a device like this. And unfortunately, it's not considered medical equipment. And so there's not Medicare or health insurance coverage for these types of solutions. So as you're looking at your home and some possible future needs, it's just really a good thing to keep in mind what the budget is going to be for something like this. So in the pictures that you see, both of these top photos show stairs that actually have a middle landing. So when we go into a home and there's two straight flights of stairs with a middle landing, sometimes, as was the case with both of these individuals, a straight lift or a combination of two straight lifts can provide a great solution. Other times, the need is for a solution that travels up and around that landing with one stair lift. In the situations pictured, the home on the left, the person in need of a lift actually only needed to get up the first flight of stairs. Their bedroom was located off the mid landing. So there wasn't a need for a solution to climb the next flight of stairs. And in the situation on the right side, it was something similar but two straight lifts were installed on each flight of stairs. there is a feature that you can see on that second picture with the gentleman at the top of the stair lift. You'll notice that the track at the bottom is folded up. And in the left side of that picture, you can see a door. That door is a closet. So if someone's stairs have a reason that the track being in the landing would provide an obstruction, like a door that needs to open, there are folding rail options and things that can be done to allow a solution to be safely installed. And I'm trying to change the screen. There it is. So, and here's an example of curved stair lifts. So you can see in the picture on the top right, another similar stair configuration with 2 straight flights and a middle landing. But this person was in need of a curved lift. They didn't want to have to transfer between 2 chairs on a landing. So a custom curved lift was a great solution. The difference between a custom lift and a straight lift is they're custom made. So when the stairs have any kind of a bend at all, like this sweeping staircase on the left, the solution to address that with a single lift is custom made. Those are quite a bit more complex, not just the custom design of a rail to follow the contour of the stairs, but the mechanism inside the lift itself is a lot more complex to stay level going around bends and turns. So you have an increased time in production. It can take 3 to 8 weeks. We've seen even some take up to 12 weeks with the current market conditions, supply chain disruptions and things like that. And those are priced significantly higher, generally starting around $11,000 and going up from there depending on the brand and model, depending on the configuration that's required, the features and the weight capacity of the lift. So the way a curved stair lift is priced, when we go to a home, we look in the base turn. So in the example of the top right, it's making a 180-degree turn. That's the starting point for pricing. And then if other features are desired, like the park station at the bottom, how the track makes another turn at the bottom of the stairs to park inside the alcove underneath the stairs, that is kind of a menu of pricing for those different types of features. So we determine the configuration that's needed and all the features and add it up and give a price for the custom lift. So other solutions besides stair lifts and handrails, if there's a change in elevation in the home that needs to be addressed, certainly ramps can be a solution. And we've helped a lot of people in San Diego County with ramps for different situations. There's primarily 2 different types of ramps. The modular ramps are the portable ones. And modular ramps are ADA compliant in their construction. So that means the walking surface of the ramp is 36 inches wide. There is a safety curb on both sides of the ramp so that a wheelchair can't roll off the edge. There is a round handrail set at ADA height. And then the surface is textured and non-slip. What determines the length of ramp that's needed for a home is the total rise that needs to be accommodated. And it's often surprising to people how long a ramp needs to be in order to have a safe, usable slope. The example in the picture you see on the left, that looks like a rise of about 15 inches. It's about 2 steps, and the ramp that you see is about 15 feet long. For every inch you go up, the ramp should extend a foot in length according to the ADA guidelines. And when we go to a home to assess for a ramp, we're looking at, number 1, the rise, number 2, what space is available for the ramp. And number three, the situation, the needs of the user or the people who are caring for the person using the ramp. So residentially, we can sometimes make a ramp a little bit shorter than that 1 to 12 ratio, but we'll never go shorter than a 1 to 8, which is about 2/3 of the ADA length. So for example, if someone has a 20-inch rise to their front porch, the shortest, or let's say a 30-inch rise, which is fairly common in more mobile homes and things like that. A 30-inch rise is fairly common. The shortest ramp we could do is 20 feet. Other than that, it gets to be pretty steep and difficult to use. And the point of having a solution is that it's safe and usable. So, and then other times, I met with a client who had a condition where she was a wheelchair user, and her goal was independence. And she wanted to be able to manually roll her wheelchair up a ramp. So even the ADA guidelines was too steep for her to do that comfortably. So we actually made her ramp twice as long as what the ADA guidelines. So it was a very, very gentle slope, and it allowed her to operate her wheelchair, her manual wheelchair, independently. So, and then the other solutions you see at the bottom, there are portable stair climbers. Those become useful when there's a situation where another lift can't be used, and they're not for independent use. They always require a trained attendant to operate them. And then you see vertical lifts, and those are used to transport a person in a wheelchair. And those make sense when a ramp is not an available solution because of space constraints. So if you have a rise that's higher than about that 30-inch mark, a vertical lift is often a really good solution for wheelchair access. Okay, let's go to the bathroom. Not literally, stay seated. You can go to the bathroom when we're done. Most falls at home happen in the bathroom. Why? Because you're in a wet, slippery environment. And truly, falls in the bathroom aren't an age-related issue. They're an environment issue. Everything's wet, everything's slippery, everything is hard. So I often will tell the story, my grandson lives with me. And when he was about 3.5, he went running into the bathroom and slipped, and I had just put in a new towel bar. And he slid into the wall and grabbed a hold of that towel bar, which slowed his fall and also bent the towel bar. So we now have a U-shaped towel bar. Thanks to him, everything floats to the middle because of that. So falls can happen to anyone in a bathroom, and there are things we can do to make that safer. So first line of defense, just like for stairs and changes in elevation, the first thing to look at is handrails. Having a safety grab bar in the bathroom is your first line of defense. I believe that grab bars should be standard construction for any bathroom because the risk of a fall in the bathroom is great for all people. So where to put grab bars? The best place is, or the two primary places are to put one usually vertically at the transition from the bathroom floor into your tub or shower enclosure. That way you have something to hold on to, stepping in and stepping out between surfaces. The other place to put a grab bar is horizontally along the back wall of the shower or bathtub. And that way, if you were to slip in the shower, there's something to hold on to stop your fall. And often I'll go into homes and I see grab bars mounted on an angle. That's not my favorite. When we're looking, especially in a shower, if something is mounted on the same plane, that means that wherever you grab, you're going to be able to reach it. If it's on an angle, it's easier to miss. And if you have an angled grab bar in your bathroom right now, don't worry about it. It's still a good solution. But if you haven't installed one in the shower, I prefer the horizontal bar. The purpose of an angled bar, they actually can be really helpful in a bathtub. If someone is taking a seated bath, an angled grab bar gives you something to hold on to help pull yourself up from that seated position. So that's the purpose of an angled grab bar. If you have space adjacent to a toilet, putting a grab bar adjacent to a toilet is also a good idea. Typically, those are mounted horizontally, or they can be angled for the same reason. It gives you something to hold on to kind of pull yourself up and then push down to rise from a seat. The example in this picture shows a common bathroom configuration where you have the toilet right between your sink and your shower, and there's no place to put a grab bar because there's no wall space right there. So there's a couple of different options for that. If your toilet is next to your sink and your shower, there are vertically mounted grab bars. There are also wall mounted flip down grab bars. They look a little bit like a trombone. If you're looking at a flip down or a wall mounted grab bar, it's really important to have that professionally installed, because the grab bar can only be as secure as what it's attached to. So when you think about attaching something to the wall that then is flipped down and all the pressure is going to be down at this end, if it's not mounted securely to the wall, it could easily come off. And so with those flip down bars, it actually needs backing behind it, not just a stud. So often those flip down bars have a little bit more involvement from a construction side than you think. Okay, let's move on to bath mats. Everyone's homework. When you get off this call, after you walk around and check out the handrails in your home to see if they're a strong grip or a pinch grip, you're going to go into your bathroom. You're going to put your feet on your bath mat and you're going to do the twist. If your bath mat moves when you twist on it, you need to replace it with something that's non-slip. So then you take yourself to your favorite store, whether that's Costco or Home Goods or Home Depot or Bed Bath & Beyond or Target. Before you purchase a bathroom rug, put it on the ground in the store, play music if you want, and do the twist. And if that rug moves or shifts, it needs to go back on the shelf. If it's non-slip and it stays sturdy when you twist on it, then it can be a good choice for your bathroom. So also, as we get older, our gait tends to change, and the way we lift our feet to get over things like shower curves and bathtub walls can be more difficult. So if you're considering a bathroom renovation, something to consider is a low threshold or even a no threshold shower. When you have a curbless or a no threshold shower, your contractor will slope the floor so that it approaches, so the water goes to the drain and not out into your bathroom. So it is definitely a possibility to have a safe shower with no curb that's easy to walk in, and certainly could be used with a roll-in shower chair if it came to that. Using a handheld shower head is also a great idea, because then it's going to allow someone to take a seated shower. And if you're sitting down, you're a whole lot less likely to slip and fall. An ADA height toilet, it's called comfort height, is going to be easier to get on and off of because that's a little taller than a standard toilet. And then we also listed having a pedestal or a wall mount sink. Now that's not going to reduce your risk of a fall on its own, But what having a pedestal or a wall mount sink does, instead of having a vanity cabinet, is it creates more space. So if in the future you're using a walker or an assistive device, it's going to allow more space in the bathroom for you and your walker to go there together. I've had a number of calls. One client comes to mind in particular, and he actually had a large bathroom. He and his walker would fit in just fine, but he would leave his walker at the bathroom door and then start to make his way across the bathroom by grabbing onto the door frame, and then a towel ring, and then the counter, and he would kind of monkey bar his way across the bathroom until the day he reached out to grab that towel bar and it gave way and he fell. So the bathroom counter stopped his fall, but it also broke his ribs. So remember that a towel bar is meant to hold towels, not people. So if you find yourself in your bathroom reaching for a towel bar for support, replace it with a grab bar. That's super important because it's just a matter of time until that gives way. It's not meant to support the weight of a person. There are grab bars that have a grab bar towel bar function. It has two rods, one rod for your hands, one rod for your towels. Those are wonderful. Invest in safety grab bars in your bathroom if you haven't already. And I believe Elder Help is one of the local services that provides grab bars for people at no cost, which is wonderful, with volunteer installers. So here's some pictures of some of those things we were talking about. The no threshold shower. There are also rubber shower curbs that can be used. I actually have that in my own home. Here's the handheld shower head. Here are some custom, not custom, but more attractive decorative grab bars. They have a textured surface on the back, so they're really easy to grip, and they're available in multiple finishes, so they're a little bit fancy, and they allow your bathroom to be safe without looking clinical. Okay, here is the third and final danger zone. Surprisingly, falling out of bed kills 450 people annually in the US. And sadly, I know someone whose mother passed away when she fell out of bed. She was 62 years old, in good health, and I believe she rolled out of bed in her sleep, had a brain hemorrhage, and didn't survive. So let's talk about getting safely in and out of bed. Sorry for the bummer story, but it is a real issue. And so especially at night, here's some examples of some assistive aids that can help when it comes to transferring. I had mentioned before the security poles that can be installed in a bathroom between the toilet and the tub to provide a safe handhold for both of those. Those can also be installed bedside for a safe handhold getting in and out of bed. Lift chairs and chair canes can help if someone has difficulty getting in and out of a seat. When it comes to those falls in bed, most of those happen at night. We get up at night. Let me see what the next slide says. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about these in a minute. I want to talk about the bed thing and lighting. I don't have a slide on it, but I think it's really important information. Carrie actually mentioned it when she was talking about fall prevention and vision. It's when you get up at night to go to the bathroom, there is a high likelihood of a trip and a fall because it's dark and we can't see where we're going. And so, number one, when you sit up in bed, take a second to let your eyes adjust and to adjust your balance. There's something called orthostatic hypotension. And what happens is if we stand up too fast, our blood pressure can drop and you get lightheaded. So when you get up at night, slow and steady. Sit up, sit a minute before you stand. Installing night lights are huge. There's motion sensing LED night lights. They can be purchased anywhere, and they will make all the difference in the world when it comes to safely getting up to go to the bathroom at night. Those lights will come on automatically when you enter the room. They're a low light, so it allows you to see where you're going without being so bright that now you can't get back to sleep when you go back to bed. So I encourage you definitely, if you're getting up at night to go to the bathroom, put pathway lighting, night lights. I have 3 between my bedroom and my bathroom. I have one that comes on next to my bed. I have one in the hallway, and I have one in the bathroom. And they're motion sensing. They come on as I get up, and then they go off on their own once I've gone back to bed. I think it was a 3-pack at Costco. I think it cost $15.99. Probably one of the best investments you can make. And give the gift of lighting this holiday season. It's also a great gift for someone. Okay, let's talk about safe patient handling. What that means is if you are caring for a loved one and they are not able to safely get up on their own, there are devices to help. They look big and scary, but they can mean a world of difference. There's a whole home care division for these lifting devices that are being designed for use at home. The image you see on the left is called a sit to stand, and that's for someone who is able to bear weight but can't stand up and sit or can't walk easily on their own. It has a belt that goes around the person's torso and a remote control that's used once the belt is secured around the person to raise them up to a standing or a semi-standing position. Their feet are on a platform, and then they can be rolled around just like we used to roll the kids in the shopping cart to take them to the place they need to go. They're very, very helpful, and they're going to prevent caregiver injuries. So if you are someone or know someone who is caring for someone with a disability or someone who has limited mobility, these types of devices can save injuries not only to the person in need, but to their care team as well. And then if someone has lost the ability to bear weight, there are all kinds of lift systems that can help raise the person off a bed or off the toilet and reposition them over their chair or bed or other piece of furniture. You see on the right a freestanding patient lift. It's a framework that fits over a bed and has a trolley with a track that will lift the person up from their bed, and then they can be glided over to a waiting wheelchair or commode chair. Very, very helpful if transfer assistance is needed. The gentleman on the lower right is using something called an independent lifter. That is for someone who is not able to walk or stand. They're a wheelchair user, but they don't want to be suspended in a sling, and they have the upper body control to operate it independently. So you can see that there's no sling. There's a framework that hugs around the person's torso and leg cradles that the person's legs are sitting on, and it actually will lift a person up. There's power in the track. They can independently transfer, which is really awesome if you've ever known anyone with a disability. Independence is golden. Cool. So I have shared a whole lot of information. Hopefully some of it was helpful to you. Just a quick review, the 3 areas where falls are most likely to happen at home, the 3 biggest danger zones in your home are stairs, whether that's a full flight of stairs or one or two little steps or even a 3-inch change of elevation inside your garage. So take a look around your homes, and if you have changes in elevation where there is not a handrail, that's your first line of defense. One thing I didn't mention that I will now is also whenever there's a change in elevation, it's really important to have something that indicates visually that there's a step. So if you go into your home and you have one of those lovely sunken living rooms and there's 2 steps down and you have the same tile on each step and they're all the same color, consider putting a reflective strip. That can be paint, that can be a tape, that can be something that indicates the change in elevation. You'll notice when you go to public places, you'll see a stripe on the end of every step, and that's to visually indicate that change in elevation. Mimicking that at home is also going to reduce the risk of a fall, because if you can't see it, you're more likely to trip over it, and that's really important for those 1 or 2 step situations. If you have hardwood floors throughout your home and you don't, or any floor surface that doesn't change when you have the change in elevation, do something to make sure that there's a color indicator. That was your bonus point. So changes in elevation, bathrooms, as well as any place that someone needs to transfer or stand up. Making sure those are safe are going to keep you safe and independent at home. Hi, Carrie. It is your turn to talk now.
Well, thank you so much, Kindra. I really appreciate. I always love hearing how you speak about the different areas in the home and the different solutions with real examples from people that you've worked with. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. And I am sure that it was helpful for the attendees as well. We did have a couple of questions come in, and while I go through those, and I'll mention them so that Kindra can help to answer, if anybody does have a question, feel free to type it in, or I have given you all the capability of unmuting yourself. So if somebody wants to unmute themselves to ask a question verbally, you're welcome to do so. But before we do that, I will read the questions that came in from a couple of our attendees. So Kindra, one question going back to the grab bars and where they can be mounted. The question is, can they be mounted to a glass shower wall, or would you need to remove the glass wall and install a solid wall?
Oh, that is an awesome question. You cannot put a standard grab bar on glass because it requires drilling and anchoring, and there's just not anything to anchor to. So the answer is yes, you would need to replace that wall with something solid. There are suction cup grab bars on the market. Stay away from those. They just are not reliable. And that's very tempting when you have a glass shower enclosure because it seems like an easy solution. But I have a suction cup thing to hold my shower loofah, and even that falls down from time to time. So I wouldn't trust a suction cup to hold up a human.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. This is Tina. I'm the person who asked the question. So follow-up question, is it best to stay away from shower curtains as well for elderly people?
Oh, that is an excellent question. In fact, we often suggest replacing glass shower doors with a curtain.
Oh,
And the reason is a lot of people are tempted to lean into the shower door for support.
mm.
And if it gives way, because again, it's not designed to hold the weight of a person,
Mm-hmm.
now you have a broken glass, higher risk of injury situation. So if there is a shower curtain, that temptation is gone. Also, as people's care needs change, sometimes there comes a time where people require assistance in the shower, and it's much easier for an assistant to provide help with a shower curtain, it usually creates a bigger opening than trying to squeeze around a shower door.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a great.
my dad hasn't fallen in his shower, but he's fallen twice in the bathroom, once falling off the toilet and once we don't know how, but he's in skilled nursing right now. So we're going to have to, have somebody come out, do an assessment, get his house situated. We've been trying to do this for 2 years, but he continued to deny that he needed assistance. So that's why I'm listening. So thank you so much.
Oh gosh, well, and thank you for sharing that. And sadly, that's a little bit of a common story. None of us want to need help.
Like there for 2 days before I found
And
him.
unfortunately, unfortunately, it often takes an incident before we get the help we need. So, yeah, absolutely.
The other question that came in, Kindra, is regarding one of the pictures that you had on a previous slide, showing a device that was assisting a woman getting off of the couch. And the question is, what is that device called?
Oh, absolutely. It is called a couch cane. And there's something that, you can buy them online. There's a couple of manufacturers. The one that you saw was by a manufacturer called Stander, Stander. And it's a metal framework that slides between the couch frame and the cushion. And then it has the legs and then this little arm holds. And they're really, really helpful and not very expensive.
Thank you. And thank you for asking those questions. We always want to make sure we have that. Kindra has included her contact information on this slide, and I will definitely share that in my follow-up email to all of you as well. She is a wealth of knowledge, and we've reached out to her several times at Elder Help to get her expertise on different situations. So definitely a good resource for you all to be familiar with. So thank you, Kindra. If anybody does have any other questions, you're welcome. Oh, it looks like there might be. Do we have another question?
Actually, I was unmuting myself just to say thank you very much.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're welcome. We're so glad that the information was helpful for you.
Yes, very much.
Great.
And then as I just wrap things up for today's webinar, again, a thank you to Algeier Foundation for sponsoring today's webinar on this important topic. We really appreciate that. And Kindra mentioned fall prevention awareness. And so I just wanted to highlight, and I will send out a flyer with this information as well. But our Fall Prevention Task Force for San Diego is holding several different workshops coming up in Fall Prevention Awareness Week, which is actually designated for, I think, the third week in September, starting on Monday, September 20th. So definitely stay tuned for that information if you'd like to learn about other topics related to fall prevention. And some of the topics you might not think, would be the first that you would hear about, but their information is really helpful. And there's so many different aspects on fall prevention. So I encourage you to check those out and see what workshops would be helpful for you. So I'll send more information about that. And then stay tuned also for information coming out on our October webinar on the topic of communication for caregivers. This webinar will be in partnership with Alzheimer's San Diego. So I will send those registration details out shortly. So keep an eye out for that. And again, if you have any questions or if you need resources or you're not sure where to start, feel free to reach out to us at Elder Help. We can connect you with any resources that might be in our community. You can do so by calling our main line that you see on the page here or by emailing us. If you do want to be notified automatically of all upcoming webinars through our Family Caregiver series, you can just email me directly or respond to the email that I send out after this webinar, and I will be sure to add you to that list. If you want to learn more about our programs or sign up for our newsletter, visit our website at elderhelpofsandiego.org. And I always update our Family Caregiver page with upcoming webinars, as well as we post our recorded webinars there. So take a look at that, or if you want to share the information with any family members who weren't able to attend today, please do so. The more people who know about the resources and can understand how to prevent falls or any of the other topics that we might have, the better all of our lives will be in the long run. So we thank you so much for tuning in today, and hopefully you learned some helpful tips and that you can share with your loved ones and for yourself perhaps. But again, thank you, Kindra, for your time this morning and for those in attendance. So we hope you have a wonderful day. And if you do have any further questions, we can stay on for a few minutes to help answer those. But otherwise, stay tuned for more information. And thank you so much for sharing your morning with us.
Thank you.